Hi, this is just to walk you through the basics of CodeGen and how to get you started. So first thing you want to do is you want to click on register now and sign up. After you sign up, you can head over to schedule and click on these buttons to start a round. Obviously, once the time starts. Before the time starts, you can always go to archive and try to do some of the past exam questions. So we'll take a look at 2019 qualification round. If you go to qualification round, there are 4 questions, each with a set of points, set of test sets and points. We're going to take a look at a question called foregone solution. I've already done this question before and I've gotten it right. But what you want to do initially is to change a language to Java with an OpenJDK, import java.util.star and class. You always want to initialize your class, declare your class by saying public class solution. Public static void main string rx. After this, what you want to do, you want to read the question. I want you to pause the video and read the question for a second so you understand what's going on. So pause it now. Okay, so suppose you have already read the question and have a pretty good idea how to solve this question. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to read a string, and if the string is 9440, what you want to do is you want to split this into 2 numbers. So I'm going to create an array of size 4. I'm going to create another array of size 4. And I'm going to read one number at a time. If the number happens to be not a 4, I just copy it into the first array. If the number happens to be 4, I will copy 3 and 1 into these 2 arrays. So I'm dividing the number into a 3 and a 1. But you can also do 2 and 2 or 1 or 3, shouldn't matter. So I have another 4. I'm going to give this array 3 and this array 1, splitting the number so there's no 4. And then there's a 0, so I copy the 0 into the first array, and I'll end up with 9330 and 110. So now that I know exactly what I'm gonna do, and I go ahead and read number of tests by first declaring scanner, new scanner system.in. So for those who are not familiar with Scanner, Scanner is a more modern version of Buffer Reader, which is slightly slower but is much more convenient to use. I'm going to read in the first number by saying in.nextInt. After this, so as for right now, t is 3. We're going to be running 3 test cases. And when you say in.nextInt, it'll read the next number. Doesn't matter if it's on the same line or different line, next line. It will find the next number by keep searching for the inputs. So next integer is 3. We're going to be doing something 3 times because there's going to be 3 test cases. So I'm going to write this. Inside the for loop, I want to read the next number as a string. As you can see, a number can be quite big, so an integer would not work. I'm going to read the next number as a string, so I'm just going to do next, and this number will be a string, for example 940. What I want to do is I want to extract each number from that string, so I'm going to write a for loop going through each character of this string. So char c equals to num char at j. Now if this is a character, it's hard to add or subtract, so we are going to make this into a integer by subtracting 0 from that character. Now we need to initialize these 2 arrays. I'm going to create array 1 to be a new int of size num.length. I'm going to also create my second array num.length. So right now both of these arrays will be an array of size 3 populated with zeros, 3 zeros, and this will also be 3 zeros like that. Right, the next thing you want to do is, as you read each number, you want to populate this number into either the first array or split it into these two arrays. So you just check if C equals to 4. If it happens to be 4, both of the arrays will get a portion of it. If not, we can put the entire thing into just the first array. After this for loop ends, we need to print this. So we're gonna start off by printing case number I plus 1 equals, actually it's gonna have to be print. And then here we're gonna print number 1. We're gonna print a new line. We're gonna print the second number, and then we're gonna print a new line at the end. So let's go ahead and print the first number by going through each value of AR1, printing its value, and you can pretty much do the same for the second number. Except if, for example, if this number happens to be 930 and this happens to be 10, splitting 940 into these two numbers, we do not want to print the leading zeros. So what we can do is we can say leading 0 is true, and we're gonna wait until we see at least one number that is not a 0. So if V is not equal to 0, we can set leading 0 to false, and only if leading 0 is false, we're going to print. After having completed the solution, what you want to do is you want to activate the test mode and type in the test input. You can also add more test inputs if you want to. So that's what I'm going to do, just add a few more numbers, and you can click on run test. So as you can see, it's running, it's loading. You want to wait for this loading to finish. And this is a test, so doesn't matter how many errors you're gonna have, you'll not be penalized for it. Now that the test is completed, you can click on this eye, and then you can see the test 1, 2, 3 have run. Since I didn't change this number, the last test case was ignored. That's my bad. And you can see that I'm printing the first number twice, because I forgot to change this array right there. So I'm gonna get out of the test mode, change this number back to 2. I should be good to go. And whilst I'm at it, I also change this to 4. So let's go ahead and run this test again. I would recommend doing all of this in your own favorite editor like Visual Studio Code. That way you don't have to wait for this run times. This is slow because it's a shared resource, but here you can see that the numbers are being split into 2 pretty well. It's not printing any leading zeros, so I think we're good to go. So at this point, I want to go ahead, turn off the test input mode and submit, and try to get this right. So we just wait, and then you can see that it passed all 3 test cases. With this, you have already scored 6 points, 10 points, and 1 point, which accounts for 17 points. Now you're gonna need 30 points to pass the first round. You already have 17, so you only need 13 more. So just get these 2 right or get this right, and then you're good to go.